Tom Eggerud visiting in town from Minnesota, the greater Minneapolis area, right? So, but that's not actually originally where you're from?
Yes, I did grow up in Minneapolis.
Did you? Okay, okay.
I was lucky enough to spend about 10 years in the great state of Wisconsin.
That's what I was going to say. How did we end up with the Packer gear on? Because
so that's actually why I moved to Wisconsin.
Okay. Okay.
Because I was a Packer fan, so it made the move a little bit more enticing and encourageable. So I did.
Awesome. And in town for the Cowboys-Packers game, which...
Packers and Cowboys.
Well, whatever. We'll see what happens.
Micah return.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay, so we've worked together for quite a while. What year? I'm guessing like 2012-ish? 2010.
15 years.
Wow, okay. And there's been a lot that's happened in those years. Where you've landed now is... notably the highest volume catering store, I think, in the entire system, if I'm not mistaken. They've told you that, right?
We're close, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure what number it is, but
okay. Well, if it's not one, it's two. But I guess start back in the origin story, if you will. Like, so you came across the brand, started talking to people.
Yeah. So I started going to like franchise expos and things of that nature.
Okay.
Back when I was working the initial, career job, sales and marketing and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Always dreamed of having my own business, as a lot of people do. Just came across Dickey's at that time. It was brand new to the state of Minnesota. We had just one store there at that point in time.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. Moved pretty quickly. Took a trip down here to Dallas. Met all the folks here at the office. You, Roland, everyone else.
Yeah.
Visited a couple stores. Within 4 months of NK, was building out the store.
Yeah, crazy. That did move pretty fast, didn't it? Yeah. Did you? What was your reaction when you came down to Texas and saw? What were you thinking about the family-owned business and that sort of thing?
I really liked the atmosphere at the office, guys, and meeting Roland, and just felt like a very different vibe than what I was used to.
Yeah.
With the business culture and more laid back, down home south kind of feel I've never really had before. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And is that sort of carried throughout your experience, that vibe?
I think so, yeah. I feel like we brought that to a lot of different parts of the country for sure, but bringing it to the Midwest and to Minnesota. People feel it when they come in. They feel like they're back home almost every day. Where, hey, I'm from Texas, or I'm from Austin and Dallas. They know Dickey's well. So it's kind of exciting to see that, give people something, another choice that they didn't have in the past.
Yeah, so, not to sound terribly ignorant, as you know that I am, but, growing up in Texas, barbecue has just always been in our decision set, right? It's just always been a cuisine that's available everywhere in Texas. So did you find that, bringing Texas-style barbecue to Eagan, Minnesota, did you have like a learning curve that you were up against, just telling people what you were selling?
I feel like I did, yes, because there's still to this day is a lot of barbecue.
Right.
It's mostly mom and pop shops, and some of them do pretty well, but there really isn't a lot of barbecue around, which still kind of blows me away because we are a very meat and potatoes kind of area.
That's true, right? Yeah.
And if you think about it, that's what we are: meat, and some potatoes and some mac and cheese. But so it never really made sense why people didn't, why we were so far behind in the barbecue scene. But we've come a long way. I think it's been a great change for everyone, and the competition's good, and we've got a lot of good restaurants up there now that we didn't have 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's great. So you mentioned earlier you always dreamed of being your own business or owning your own business, being your own boss, that kind of thing. How has that reality that you've been doing it now for 15 years? How does the reality of it measure up against what your expectations were of it if you could talk to 2010 Tom Eggerud?
I definitely would have done a lot of things differently.
Yeah.
I feel like the experience that I had in the world is kind of what made me be successful a little bit faster, maybe, and build upon early success. I was a little bit more committed, and I think going into the location I went was challenging because a lot of people said, what are you doing here? Why are you in this spot? Not a location, but, kind of turned all that around and turned it into a good spot. The area has actually built up a lot since then around me. It's been fortunate. But in hindsight, yeah, just I would have done a few things differently, but everything that I did made me better, made the store better, made it stronger. And 15 years later, still having the same store growth, double digits, 11 months. So feel pretty good with where we're at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we said, you've obviously been successful up there, and I know that there's always peaks and valleys, or ebbs and flows and that kind of thing. But do you find that you're still getting better? I mean, do you have it totally figured out right now, or are you still learning even these days?
I would say it's pretty well figured out.
Yeah.
What I figured out is that, and I knew it from the beginning, but I figured out that it's about the people, and I've got, for the most part, the same crew I've had for 10 years.
Oh, the people that work for your
Right.
crew, basically.
Our crew.
Yeah.
And I've recently, in the last year, brought my son back into work full time, managing it.
Okay.
He dreams of taking it over, so he's trying to push me out the door, which is okay. But he has definitely helped, enhance and been a big part of the success of this past year. Only kept, going even stronger. So, so it allowed us to kind of tighten things up and make what was good even better.
Yeah. Well, owning a business has got to be hard. I've never done it myself, but I understand that it's got to be pretty difficult. And I guess have you considered, or have you thought about what you would do differently as a franchisee versus not part of a franchise? Or, I mean, did you ever were you considering being your own boss without a franchise? Did you always just kind of have a franchise model in mind?
No, I definitely did consider going off and doing my own thing.
Okay.
Could I do it now? Absolutely. Could I have done it then? Probably not.
Okay.
I would have been one of those statistics that failed in 6 months, probably.
Right.
But no, the advantages have been enormous, just having the support and training that I had through here. And I don't think I could have done it any other way.
Yeah. Well, that's I think that's an experience that a lot of people have. Not everybody, but a lot of people have it. There's been, you're probably definitely aware that there's been some other folks who've had different experiences, and they've, told their story in newspapers and things like that. You know what I'm talking about.
I've heard, yes.
What's your reaction to that? How does that make you feel as a franchisee that had a different experience?
Pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be both sides of every story told. And I'm pretty confident that if the New York Times or anyone else went to 100 franchisees within any company, they could have, 50 going both ways, each way.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating in the fact that it's published and it's a few people that, for whatever reason, it didn't work. Whose fault it is, who knows? I don't know the details.
Right.
You probably do, but yeah, when people in Minnesota come up to me and say, "Are you okay?" What do you mean? Well, is your store okay? I have to be, yeah, great. Why? Well, I saw that article. Are you part of that?
Right.
Part of this? So even in a one store metropolitan area, I hear about it there.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
News hits everywhere.
I mean, I think what you said was spot on about the frustrating part, because that was sort of the reaction that, a lot of us in the home office had was, yeah, it did not seem like it. Well, it definitely didn't tell both sides of the story, I guess is what I'm saying. I think it was pretty, very clearly focused on this particular set of experiences, and that could have been the author's prerogative or whatever. But I know we heard from a lot of franchisees, you included, that was just like, why didn't they talk to us? We're not actually sure why they didn't, but had they talked to you, I guess, what would you have said?
Well, my story would have clearly been different.
Yeah.
Would have just shared the facts and, contradicted some of the points, whatever, the points of the story that were made, and not pointing all the blame in one direction, just having them look at themselves and, what's the reason why your particular store failed, or let them know that that business is tough. And I think they knew that coming in. But yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. They've got to talk to the ones where it works as well as the ones that it didn't work.
Yeah. And, and it kind of seemed to draw some conclusions that I think may have been misguided. Like, for example, you just said yourself earlier, you did not come from a restaurant background, right?
Right, correct.
So, I mean, you're a corporate job guy, like I am probably, right? And so you're going to the office and you're doing your sales or whatever, and then you buy the rights to a restaurant and you're fast-tracked, you open a restaurant. Like, what was the learning curve like that? I mean, I've never run a restaurant.
Well, I think it was easier and faster for me because I had the business side of it down, the people side of it, and the part about dealing with profits and employees and personnel and labor and all that good stuff. So to me, it was learning the process of making the food, and then taking care of the customers has always been the biggest part of my job and passion throughout my life.
Yeah.
That's been the key to success everywhere. So I knew that once, figured out the food side of it, that it was going to come. Just was confident in that.
And the food is always the star of the show, obviously. And I know that, again, the catering side of your business is so large, I guess. Is that, like, this is kind of a dumb question, I guess, but is that your focus on food quality? I mean, how much does that play into the success that you've had, especially when it comes to like the offsite delivery and that kind of thing?
Well, it plays a huge role. The catering is obviously large orders, so 20, 50, 100 people. Mm-hmm. So doing as much in 1 or 2 caters a day as we do in the entire restaurant for the day.
Wow.
So making sure that it's perfect for that big group is the same as making sure it's perfect for 100 people in the restaurant in that day.
Mm-hmm.
And treating each caterer as a partnership with them as opposed to a delivery. So 95% of all the caterers are taken care of either by myself or my son. So we don't let anyone else touch them that doesn't know what they're doing, and customers know us, know me, call us directly. So that's really been the key, I think.
Yeah,
for that part of the business.
So now that you got the food part down,
yeah.
Today, what's more difficult, the business side or the food side?
I mean, the business side probably, in the sense that so much has changed in the last few years with food and product and availability and cost. The cost is a big thing.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on our prices, adjusting them as needed. As I feel like for several years, we probably had the exact same prices. Never even had to worry about it.
Right, yeah.
Our deal of the day might have used to be $9.99, and then it's going up $1 each year or whatever.
Yeah.
So really staying on top of it in that sense is probably the challenge now.
Yeah. Managing the bottom line, really. I mean, that's all it comes down to, right? It's tough right now for restaurants, like in this economic climate that we're in right now. We were just talking with another franchisee who was mentioning that, you see the impact that the economy is having on the restaurant industry right now. I mean, you can just see it as you're just walking around or driving around town or whatever. Is it similar experience up in Minneapolis? I mean, you're obviously weathering the storm, but like, how is it just kind of going through it right now compared to, a few years ago?
It's really impacted the dine-in segment for me, where every weekday lunch used to be a full house. And now it's 2 or 3 tables in there. But at that same point in time, there's 10 or 12 online orders lined up waiting to go.
Yeah.
So the business has really just changed, where people's habits are now to just order on their phone or order through DoorDash or whatever the case is. So it's a different game now.
Yeah, for sure.
Really kind of started, I think, during COVID, and it's just been blowing up ever since.
Yeah, it's the delivery. Well, the third-party delivery obviously is that whole product of that era, I guess. But you finding people coming back to online ordering more than third-party?
Yes, I think so.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we do our part to try and steer them to our website, of course, and order directly through us. But take it wherever we can get it from, and third parties are huge right now.
Yeah.
Just letting them know that, hey, it's always going to be the best deal. Just go directly through us, best pricing, and best, full menu, U.S. items.
And, you get the atmosphere of the restaurant as well if you're coming to pick it up. I guess online ordering you get delivered still sometimes, but, trying to get people back into restaurants is, an important part of what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of gotten you through, the initial sort of learning curve, growing pains. You've established you're here, you got the family, possibly handing over the restaurant to your son. What are the next couple of years for Tom Eggerud in the Dickey's world? I won't hold you to it. I'm just, yeah.
Yeah, I think continuing the direction we're going, and just really training Aaron on how to run it, get everything top to bottom.
Yep.
So that's been the hard part for me, when you're used to doing everything for 15 years. Certainly delegating certain things, but still not wanting to take the foot off the gas on it in any one particular area. So it's really kind of turning over one thing at a time for him, making sure he's comfortable and knows what he's doing. And, has that same drive for sales and the bottom line, watching things like that too.
Was that succession plan something that you had in mind when you initially got involved?
It was a dream, having 3 kids,
Yeah.
hoping or expecting that one of the 3 would be interested and want to do it. Luckily, 1 out of 3 did. He took a step aside for a couple of years after he got married. He got a full-time sales job and did a good job, and he realized how much he missed the business,
Right.
which was great to hear. From a 25-year-old, wanting to come back. It's one of the better days of my life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. All right. Well, thanks for chatting with me today. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.